Now, as someone who lived in New England for 7 years, I got to tell you, that is pretty shocking because there have been 13 bodies so far. Now, there are rumors that there's a serial killer on the loose, and we've got a map of the locations. We can put that up. There it is, all over New England. Now, we don't know exactly the connection between the killings, except these are unsolved deaths. And police are wondering if this is related. They want to keep, obviously, people calm. They don't want to say there's a serial killer on the loose, but a lot of people are starting to ask questions with those 13 bodies. Mark Eiglarsh, what's your take on this?
I said recently that we've seen the last of serial killers. I said this randomly before this subject matter. I said, with all the technology out there, there's no way that somebody will be able to continue killing without either DNA nabbing them, video cameras on the street, rings. There's just no way. So I start with that premise. I don't think that there's a serial killer out there. The question that I have is, does that chart that you just showed, is that like that unique? I think that if you showed any random city, certainly here in South Florida, you'd have a lot more dots all over the place and you could panic everybody.
But
So
unsolved killings? Unsolved murders?
oh, sure. I do not believe that there's a serial killer out there. I think it's coincidental. And I think that we would know. I just don't think that they would be able to get away with it the way that shows.
Phil, do you agree?
Well, I do agree that if they're serial killers, it's harder for them to get away with it. It's just like Koberger, I think, was a serial killer that was just getting started, but due to technology and DNA and other things, he was arrested before he could get started. But the timeline of these bodies that are found, to me, is compelling. You got March 6th, March 19th, March 20th, March 26th, April 9th, 10th, 20th, 22nd, April 25th, 27th, May 30th, June 1st. These are all sort of rapid fire bodies that are turning up in the general area. Now, look, it is true that some of them could have just nothing at all to do with one another. Some of them aren't necessarily homicides. Police have to investigate all of those things. But I do think that there are so many of them and the timeline is so compressed that it can't be ruled out. Each one of these has to be painstakingly researched and investigated by law enforcement. And as we all know, law enforcement is already spread thin enough with their resources. So it's going to, they've got to first figure out, is each one of them a homicide, and then move out from there.